So what I did was I basically presented just some information that's out there in terms of medical research that's been done, looking at whether is actually any efficacy to conversion therapy, which means does it have any long-lasting effects. It also looked at whether or not there's any benefits to it um, in terms of like a health or mental health perspective. And then it also looked to see if there was any harms from conversion therapy. And what they found was that there was really very little chance of having any long-lasting effects on actually changing someone's orientation. So the big point was that it was likely to be ineffective based on the research that's out there. The other thing that they showed was that there were some real significant harms in terms of mental health repercussions. So things like increased risk of depression and anxiety and suicidal ideation. So that was really what I'd focused on, was sort of this report that was compiled by the American Psychological Association, where they sort of looked into this issue, and their conclusion was that sexual orientation change efforts should not be recommended, and it would be something that they would not like to see any of their clinicians doing. So that was the information that I had presented, where we sort of were asking for the Board of Medicine to consider putting some sort of a policy or a statement in place where they would let their physicians, so the only folks who they actually have jurisdiction over would be like MDs or DOs, so physicians in the state of Iowa, saying that it would be against policy to perform conversion therapy.
Before here, I was working at West High School, and so I was working with their program called Colors with the high school students. And so here it's essentially the same thing of managing students and student groups and programs and stuff like that. But all of that aside, I'm someone who also identifies as being a part of the community, so this is also part of my lived experience. So I think where we are in this country, and really I'd say globally, we're in a very interesting position. Because we were once a country that was said to have made so much progress. And then the election brought out like the dark face or the dark side. But with that being said, I am optimistic in that it was like a wake-up call. And so that's one of the things that I try to talk to students about is even on campus, it's like, yes, we're making progress, but never become complacent.